And this video will be on demand for everyone. It'll also live on our website. So you'll be able to have on-demand access to it whenever you need it. All right, well, welcome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your afternoon to be with us today and learn a little bit about the P2 Pond Freedom Foundation and our upcoming Equitable Entrepreneurial Ecosystem. It's a mouthful, so E3 for short, application cycle. We're very excited to announce and share that we're able to hold our application cycle rounds this year, thanks to grant funding from Barclays. So Barclays is our anchor funder for the E3 program. They have been funding this process and this program since 2020 when we first initially launched. And so we're excited for their continued support in the application cycle. So today what we're going to talk about is what's E3. Some of you on the call, I tried to scan the list very briefly, are familiar with what we do, and I see a lot of new names and faces as well. So we'll just do a brief overview of E3. We'll talk about some of our successes and impact. We'll talk about the application process and more in depth. If you have questions throughout, please utilize the chat box or use the raise hand function. We have Ashlyn and Lynn who are going to be monitoring the chat box and bringing those questions to light for us, but ask questions throughout. And then E3 membership and benefits, what that means, what that includes, and then next steps. So before we get started, any initial questions? All right. So E3, the Equitable Entrepreneurial Ecosystem, was launched in 2020. Initially, it was launched as a response to COVID. The P2 Pond Freedom Foundation, we launch ideas and we also help to accelerate businesses. And through our Reinventing Delaware program that launches ideas, we created E3 to help those ideas sustain. But then COVID happened and we saw that there needed to be a lot of more support for small businesses in this ecosystem and within Delaware. And so since our launch of E3, we've refined this process quite a bit and we've landed on a process that really works for us. Through the process, what we're going to do is we're going to work with third-party contractors and business consultants and experts within their respective fields to help you analyze your business, identify areas of opportunity, identify your strengths, identify challenges, but really create an action plan. As entrepreneurs, you all, I'm sure, come with a lot of passion about what you do and how you do it. And I'm sure all of you know exactly what you need to run your business and to have your business scale and to achieve success. But a lot of times we get stumbled upon the granular sides of it in terms of what do we do first? What steps need to happen and in what order? And that is what this process was created to do. So through our cohort, we put you through a 5-week workshop that takes you through a comprehensive analysis of your business. At the end of it, you'll receive a comprehensive report that outlines your business and serves as a discovery report that could help you take it to other business consultants to receive services. But the biggest value add of that report is going to be an action plan. It's going to be a prioritized action plan that's quite literally color-coded in red areas, yellow areas, and green areas of what steps your business needs to take or should take, our recommendations for you to be able to achieve your specific goals. It's a formal process, but it's very customizable and it's custom to your business. And we work with businesses throughout any stage of their journey, from the startup stage to the emerging stage to the accelerated stage, and across all industries. And on our screen here are just a couple of the businesses that we've helped support through E3. And listed here are some of the support services that we provide through this process. Any questions? This is one of our entrepreneurs. It's a very lengthy quote, but one of our entrepreneurs who has gone through our cohort and has come into our business, but I won't let you kind of go through that. But we work with, as I mentioned, businesses throughout every course. And what we're building here is an ecosystem. So it's not one of those standard processes where we support an entrepreneur and we kind of see them run their course. We work with entrepreneurs that then circle back into the ecosystem and lend expertise. And Kristen Isaac, one of our really fantastic members, has kind of went through the process as an E3 member, but then has come back as one of our service providers. So this is somebody that you could be working with through E3. So let's talk about the E3 application. The application is very short. It's a short intake form that is on a third-party platform that we'll share with, but this QR code will take you to that application site, and we'll walk through and show you what that looks like. There is a save and continue option, so no need to sit down and finish it all in one go. We do recommend that you review the questions ahead of time, and we even recommend that you write your questions or write your answers out in a Word document or on a Google Doc or some sort of that and copy and paste it in. And also remember that it's real people who are reading these applications. Some of those people who are reading those applications are on this call today. So when you're writing and completing your intake form, consider the fact that there's a human at the end of it reading. Keep it concise. We know that there's so much that you want to tell us about your business, but try to keep it as short and as concise as possible. There's going to be opportunities for us to ask follow-up questions. So allow time for that. Allow us to ask you those questions. There is opportunities as well for you to attach information. So, you can attach your resume if we're asking about your background, or you can attach your business plan or a marketing strategy, whatever information that you have. And the individuals who will be reviewing your application are individuals from the landscape. And what that means is individuals from landscape partners such as the SBA, SBDC, United Way of Delaware, Wilmington Alliance, just to name a few. What we do is we bring in others in the space to come in and be part of our regional councils. And we have a council based on each county to review all of the intake forms. And the reason why we do that is because we want to make sure that all of our services are aligned, with our goal being to create a wraparound service plan for every one of our entrepreneurs. The application is broken up into 4 sections, and that's business information, general information about your business and yourself, organizational structure, social, environmental, workforce impact, and then demographic information. When our council reviews everyone's application, they are only looking at the first 3 sections. We do keep demographic information confidential, and that is purely for our funders' request. So that does not dictate who gets pushed forward to the next level and their next phase at all. One of the most important things about completing the intake form is being honest. We want you to be honest. If there's a question on the form that you don't know the answer to, it's okay to say, I don't know. If there is a question that you're unsure about answering, it's okay to say, I'm unsure about this. What happens is once you hit submit on the application, we get a chance to proof it before it heads to the regional council. And so if you do have any questions, you can reach out to us and we'll include our contact information at the very end. So what I'm going to do is walk us through what that looks like. So when you initially log on to Foundant, the platform, and that's where the QR code will take you, this is the screen that you're going to get. If you have used this platform before for another organization, you're going to have to create a new account. The only way you'll have an account is if you've applied to join E3 with us in the past. The best way to check that if you're unsure is to is to hit forgot your password. But if you are new to this process, you're going to want to hit create a new account. And I like to review this because this platform was initially catered to nonprofit organizations. And many of you on this call, some of you are nonprofits, but many of you are not. And so I want to just kind of bring attention to this page. So enter the information as accurately as possible. Anything with an asterisk means that it's required. They do ask for an EIN number. If you are a for-profit business, please just enter NA and don't get, I don't want anyone to get hung up on that. Then it'll go and ask you just general user information. If you have a co-owner, please list that co-owner. Anybody who's going to be a part of that process, make sure you include all of that in there. Once you sign on, which I will now do, you're going to see this screen. It's very easy if you're rushing to bypass this and to think that something is wrong. If you've never applied with us before, you're going to want to hit apply to begin the application process. If you have submitted an application before, you'll be able to get access to all of your historical requests through this tab. I do want to say that a lot of the questions have been updated since last year. So if you're referencing an old application, that's completely fine, but there are new questions. So once you go and you see this screen, you'll want to hit apply. And you'll get the screen right over here that has information about each application cycle. We do hold 3 application cycles each year, and they are county-based. If you are unsure of which county you belong to, please ask us. We would like, because we understand that some businesses offer services through various counties, but consider, and if that's you, perfectly fine, but consider applying for the county-based cohort where you supply the most services or where you provide the most impact. That's going to give you a stronger application. Also consider where your business is based. If your business is based in Kent County, but majority of your services are in Sussex County, and you would rather apply for the Sussex County cycle, that's completely fine. Just make sure you make a note of that in your application so that we don't discount you, and vice versa. But if all else fails, we highly recommend that you choose the application cycle based on where your business is based. And then if you do supply services or provide services throughout the state or in multiple counties, there is a question on the application that you'll be able to note that. Before I move forward, any questions? All right. So as you'll see right now, you're not going to be able to apply. The first application cycle is for Sussex County businesses, and that begins on Monday, as soon as which is March 11th. As soon as this application cycle opens, you're going to see an apply now button, and that goes for every cycle. Until then, you have the option to preview the questions. If you're planning on submitting an application this year, I highly recommend that you get in here now and preview the questions, and you can start on your application now. You're not going to be able to fill anything out in here, but what you can do is take a look at what the application looks like ahead of time. You can even press this button over here, which provides you with a PDF that lists all of the questions, as well as the corresponding responses. As mentioned, the application is broken down into 4 sections. Business information, there is character limits, so please be cautious of that. Like I mentioned, there are places where you can upload a file. There's some standard questions like, do you have a business license and what areas do you serve? Again, if you're unsure, just let us know. Totally fine. And as you go down here, we ask about revenue. We ask about if you've received any grant funding and loans, things like that. And one of the reasons why we ask these questions is because it helps us create the service plan for you. We need to know what you don't have and where the gaps are so we can help you fill them. And it's really also beneficial to know this for the regional council because there are other vendors on that call that can help identify different programs or services for you. And that's why we bring all of our landscape partners into the call. We then ask about organizational structure. Do you have a board? Do you have financial support, legal support? What does your employee structure look like? And then, are you working with anyone else? Please tell us as much as you can. If you've gone through a program, an accelerator program or incubator or received grant funding, let us know as much as you can. It will not hurt your application. In fact, it helps your application just so we can understand what processes you participated in. Then we ask about social and environmental and workforce impact. We define impact. Again, you can let us know whatever level of impact you offer, and it could be none, it could be a lot. Again, it's not going to negatively impact your application. It just helps us understand you as a business even further. And then finally, as I mentioned, demographic information. We created this process to be welcoming and inclusive, but a big part of that is data collection. This information is confidential. We just share the actual quantitative data with our funders. So we don't share the data specifically about any applicant, but we do share the collective data to our funders as a funding requirement for this grant application cycle. And then finally, there's an acknowledgement on the bottom, and that's it. It's a very, it seems lengthy, but it's a very quick application. Yeah, so I'm going to open the floor for any questions. None? All right.
I'll ask a question. This is Amber Perry. I wanted to know, so this is I've always seen, Pete DuPont Foundation, and I do work in the nonprofit space where I do help entrepreneurs as well get started, like very preliminary started. But for something like this, is this appropriate to apply for if you're a startup or growth or existing? Like, who does this best fit this opportunity,
Yeah, thank you, Amber. That's a fantastic question. So this process was created to work with any entrepreneur, nonprofit or for-profit across any stage of business. It's across any stage. Now, we are in, I believe, about our 8th cycle of running this, and we do have a sweet spot. So our sweet spot is emerging and accelerated businesses, businesses that have some foundational elements that are in place. And when I say foundational elements, I mean a business plan or marketing strategy, or you're turning a revenue. Those are the businesses that we're able to really take to the next level. However,
Okay.
only have one of those things or two of those things, or maybe none of those things, I still recommend you apply. And the reason why is because we have other people at the table who can help you. So one of the things that we've noticed is that people who apply who don't have a business plan, we have Launcher and we have SBDC at the table, as well as some other landscape partners. So at that same time, we can help connect you to the right people. Depending on what the applicant pool looks like, if you have a business or a nonprofit that has a high impact, but you are a startup and you don't have some of the foundational elements, you may get pushed through because that's what's needed for your county or your region. And the council votes that, we need to support this business. You may get pushed through. If the applicant pool is really large and we're only picking people with certain foundational elements, what's going to happen is we'll just refer you to the right place. And so what's really great about our process, if I can get to the next screen, here we go. Let's skip past that. What's really great about this is that, and I put up the screen in terms of next steps, is that every applicant receives a status update, and we pride ourselves in that. So every single person who applies, whether you are accepted into the cohort or not, will receive a status update and feedback on your submission. The way our platform is created is for our regional council to be able to rate each application, and we do have rubrics that are established based on where what stage in business you are. So there are different rubrics for each person, for each status. And there's an opportunity for each person on the regional council to leave their comments and leave their feedback. And that's really beneficial because we share that feedback and those comments with every single applicant. So even if you're a startup and you're unsure, if you think, I don't know if this is, and if you have the time, I recommend you, and the commitment, I recommend that you still complete the application and submit it, because we may be able to connect you to the right resource if we're not the right resource, or at least give you really good feedback that could help you for your next application cycle.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. Shane, I think your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Yes. It's actually Shanae. But
Shanae,
thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the accent mark since kindergarten. My question is about how many applications do you guys usually get on average each year? Like, is it really hard to get in, or is it like how many people are you looking to accept?
Fantastic question. So based on this grant cycle, so how many people were able to accept varies by year and it varies by grant funding. So this is a completely grant funded cycle. And this year we're able to accept 20 businesses statewide. That's 5 in Sussex County, 5 in Kent County, and 10 in Newcastle County. We are brewing other partnerships that will allow us to expand to an additional 5 businesses. So when that changes, we will let you know. But for right now, it's 10 in Southern Delaware, 5 in Sussex, 5 in Kent, and then 10 businesses in Newcastle County. The amount of applicants range. We get anywhere between 10 applicants to 45 applicants. It all depends on the region. I'll be completely honest, Newcastle County is a bit more competitive just because it's Newcastle County. And Southern Delaware application cycles are a little less competitive, but there's also less spots. Again, we try to make sure that we give enough feedback to everyone so that everyone finds some benefit in this. But this is actually a really good segue to our membership program, which every person or every business that gets accepted into the cohort gets access to the E3 membership benefits. For those who don't get accepted into the cohort, E3 membership is another option for you to receive some services to help you get your business to the next level. Membership is incredibly affordable. It starts at just $150 per year and it goes up to $1,200 per year. There are different tiers and different benefits come with different tiers. And if you're interested in learning more about what membership looks like, I urge you to go to our website or you can contact Lynn. Lynn, if you can put your information in the chat box, that way people can contact you about membership. That's an affordable way to get access into our network and then also get access to some of the services you would get in the cohort. Any other questions? I think this is the easiest info session I've ever ran.
Hey, how you doing? This is Kyle Wingfield, Next Level Home Improvement. Just for clarification purposes, you're saying that we can't even apply, if we're in Newcastle County, I can't apply until June the 10th?
Yes. Yes, the application cycle for Newcastle County will not open until June 10th. However, you can preview the questions now and get started on your application. And you can reach out to us. So if you have questions about the application or you want to kind of get started, you can feel free to reach out to Lynn and we can start helping you prepare for that application. Several of our E3 and E3 membership is also an option. If you need support services now, we can talk to you about what E3 membership looks like and we can at least get you prepped for the application cycle. So to be clear, E3 membership gives you an array of benefits that people in the individuals participating in the cohort will receive. However, when you're in the cohort, the added benefit is that comprehensive business analysis and the prioritized action plan that our members don't get. Does that answer your question?
Application is not for the membership, it's something separate.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
The application, are we applying for an E3 membership or is that something separate?
That's something separate. That is something separate. So when you're applying for the E3 cohort. And the cohort is that 5-week workshop where we'll take your business through that comprehensive workshop and the analysis, and you'll get that action plan. But membership is a way to start getting access into our network now. Does that make it a little bit more clear?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions? All right. Well, the dates are up on the screen in terms of when each cycle will begin. After you submit your application, again, your application will be reviewed by a regional council. The regional council members vary by region. And then you'll receive notification and feedback. Again, every applicant will receive a status update and feedback on their submission. There will be an option for you to request a meeting if you'd like one to talk about your application, if that's something that you're interested in. And then for those in Sussex County, I want you to save the date. If you are accepted into the cohort, we will be having a virtual meeting via Zoom on April 22nd as a kickoff call to the process. And then as we'll be doing some more info sessions, so you can definitely ask additional questions for the Kent County and Newcastle County cycles, which will have their own kickoff dates as well. All right. Well, I have plopped up my email address up on the screen as well as Lynn's, and I think Ashlyn is popping hers into the meeting chat. But do I hear one more question? All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I want to thank you for your time today. Again, this video will be on demand. Feel free to reach out to Lynn, myself, or Ashlyn if any questions pop up. But other than that, I'll be going through the chat to see who joined us today. And I look forward to reading all about your businesses and learning more about you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You
Thank
too.
you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.